Hello and welcome back to Uplift Equine Animal Protection Act, Part 4. This is the second to last in our 5-part series explaining the Horse Protection Act, and then in Part 5 we will explain the new things that are proposed in the Horse Protection Act, and hopefully they never come to fruition, honestly. So, today we're going to be talking about the authorization and training of the horse protection inspectors, so these APHIS inspectors. But before we get to that, I want to say a huge thank you to my live students in the Central Indiana area. You guys make this happen. You guys are wonderful, and I appreciate you greatly. So if you are interested in taking lessons either online or within the Central Indiana area, please contact me at upliftequine@gmail.com. Alright, so let's get into our Horse Protection Act, Part 4. So, the authorization and training of horse protection inspectors. APHIS will authorize HPIs after the successful completion of the training by APHIS. The management of any horse show, exhibition, sale, or auction may appoint HPIs holding a current authorization to detect and diagnose horses that are sore or to otherwise inspect horses and any records pertaining to such horses for the purposes of determining compliance with the Act regulations. Alright, Section A, Authorization Process. All persons wishing to become HPIs must submit an application to the APHIS. Guidance regarding submitting applications is located on the APHIS Horse Protection website. Applicants will be required to show that they meet the Tier 1 qualifications in paragraph A1 of this section in order for the application to be evaluated. A1 is in a moment. If the applicant meets the qualifications in paragraph A1 of this section, the applicant will be further evaluated based on the Tier 2 qualifications in paragraph A2 of this section. In order for APHIS to consider the applicant as a candidate to be an HPI, all qualifications must be met. 1. The Tier 1 qualifications. The applicant must be a veterinarian, except that veterinary technicians and persons employed by the state and local government agencies to enforce laws or regulations pertaining to animal welfare may also be authorized if APHIS determines that there is an insufficient pool of veterinarians among current HPIs and applicants to be HPIs. So if there's not enough veterinarians, they'll start going down the line of veterinary technicians and persons employed by state and local government agencies for other inspections, such as birds and the like. So if this act gets put forth, this new one, and it goes all across the entire nation for the horse industry, this does not spell good things, because they're like, oh, we don't have enough veterinarians. Let's go with the veterinarians that have had their license revoked, and let's have the ones, some technicians. How about the guy that's in the desk a little over there that's done the bird flu a couple of times? Let's just put him in there. Give him a piece of paper. It'll be fine. I can guarantee you that does happen, I'm sure. Because some guy's sick, the other guy can't make it in, so if this other guy that's a little too bored or just finishing up their assignment will have to go. I almost guarantee you that does happen. Alright, so the Tier 2 qualifications. The applicant must demonstrate sufficient knowledge and experience of equine husbandry and science and applicable principles of equine science, welfare, care, and health for APHIS to determine that the applicant can consistently identify equine soring and soring practices. The applicant must not have been found to have violated any provision of the Act or regulations in this part occurring after July 13, 1976, or have been assessed by any civil penalty or have been the subject of a disqualification in order a disqualification order in any proceeding involving an alleged violation of the Act or regulations occurring after July 13, 1976. The applicant must not have been disqualified by the Secretary from performing diagnosis, detection, and inspection under the Act. The applicant must not have acted in a manner that calls into question the applicant's honesty, professional integrity, reputation, practices, reliability, relative to possible authorization as an HPI. APHIS will base this on review of criminal conviction records, if any, indicating that the applicant may lack the honesty, integrity, and reliability to appropriately and effectively perform HPI duties. Official records of the person's actions while participating in federal, state, or local veterinary programs when those actions reflect on honesty, reputation, integrity, and reliability of the applicant. So, the lawsuit that's going on, I believe right now, or has wrapped up at some point, from the Tennessee Walking Association against this person who was an HPI. The government hired this person. They were not a large animal vet. They were a small animal vet with their license revoked. So, clearly, they're not following their own rules. Anyway, judicial determinations in any type of litigation adversely reflecting on honesty, reputation, integrity, and reliability of the applicant. Any other evidence reflecting on honesty, reputation, integrity, and reliability of the applicant. Training. All applicants selected as candidates must complete a formal training program administered by APHIS prior to authorization. Continual training, as APHIS determines to be necessary, is a condition of maintaining authorization to inspect horses. APHIS will maintain a list of all HPIs on the APHIS Horse Protection website. The list is also available by contacting APHIS by email or U.S. mail. Note 1 to paragraph C. Send email to horseprotectionact@usda.gov, and then it gives a mailbox. We'll just move on from there. Denial of an HPI applicant and disqualification of HPIs. Denial. APHIS may deny an application for authorization of an HPI or deny continuation in the program to an HPI trainee not yet authorized for any of the reasons outlined in paragraph A of this section. In such instances, the applicant shall be provided written notification of the grounds for the denial. The applicant may appeal the decision in writing within 30 days after receiving the written denial notice. The appeal must state all of the facts and reasons that the person wants the administrator to consider in deciding the appeal. As soon as practicable, the administrator will grant or deny the appeal in writing stating the reasons for the decision. Disqualification. APHIS may permanently disqualify any HPI who fails to inspect horses in accordance with the procedures prescribed by APHIS or otherwise fails to perform duties necessary for APHIS to enforce the Act regulations, after notice and opportunity for a hearing. Requests for hearing and the hearings themselves shall be in accordance with the uniform rules of practice for the Department of Agriculture Subpart H of 7 CFR Part 1. Responsibilities and liabilities of management. So, show management. This is for you guys. The management of any horse show, exhibition, sale, or auction which does not appoint and retain a DQP shall be responsible for identifying all horses that are sore or otherwise in violation of the Act regulations, and shall disqualify or disallow any horses which are sore or otherwise in violation of the Act or regulations from participating or competing in any horse show, exhibition, sale, or auction. Horses entered for sale or auction at a horse sale in horse auction must be identified as sore or otherwise violation of the Act regulations and prohibited from entering the sale or auction ring. Sore horses, or horses otherwise in violation of the Act or regulations that have been entered in a horse show or horse exhibition for the purpose of show or exhibition, must be identified and excused prior to the show or exhibition. Any horses found to be sore or otherwise in violation of the Act or regulations during actual participation in the show or exhibition must be removed from further participation prior to the tying of the class or the completion of the exhibition. All horses tied first in each Tennessee walking horse or racking horse class or event at any horse show, exhibition shall be inspected after being shown or exhibited to determine if such horses are sore or otherwise in violation of the Act or regulations. So if you've shown your horse, you have to get inspected prior to the show. If you are first or tie for first, you have to get your inspected after the show. Again. The management of any horse show, exhibition, or sale or auction which designates and appoints a designated qualified person or persons to inspect horses shall accord said DQP access to all records in areas of the ground such as show, exhibition, sale, or auction at the same right to inspect horses and records in accordance to any APHIS representative. So basically the DQP is... So I initially thought the DQP was like in assistance with the APHIS representative. I think it replaces the APHIS representative if the show is either too small for one to really be afforded, or if there's nobody available. And if you don't do a DQP or an APHIS representative, the show management is taking that responsibility upon themselves. And I'm sure that there's going to be some sort of fine involved if there's something came out that the horse show that you're managing that didn't have a DQP or APHIS representative had some sort of soaring going on in your show. Good luck. Further, management shall not take any action in which would interfere with or influence said DQP in carrying out his duties or making decisions concerning whether or not any horse is sore or otherwise in violation of the Act or regulations. In the event management is dissatisfied with the performance of a particular DQP, including disagreement with decisions concerning violations, management shall not dismiss or otherwise interfere with said DQP during DQP's appointed tour of duty. However, management should immediately notify in writing the department and organization or association that licensed the DQP as to why the performance of the DQP was inadequate or otherwise unsatisfactory. Management which designates and appoints DQP shall immediately disqualify or disallow from being shown, exhibited, sold, or auctioned by any horse identified by the DQP to be sore or otherwise in violation of the Act or regulations, or any horse otherwise known by management to be sore or in violation of the Act or regulations. I'm double reading lines now. Should management fail to disqualify or disallow from being shown, exhibited, sold, or auctioned by any such horse, said management shall assume full responsibility for the and liabilities arising from showing, exhibition, sale, or auction of said horses. 2. The DQP shall physically inspect all Tennessee walking horses and racking horses entered for sale or auction, all Tennessee walking horses and racking horses entered in by animated gait class, whether under saddle, horse to cart, or otherwise, all Tennessee walking horses and racking horses entered for exhibition before they are admitted to be shown, exhibited, sold, or auctioned, and all Tennessee walking horses and racking horses entered for exhibition before they are admitted to be shown, exhibited, sold, auctioned, and all Tennessee walking horses and racking horses tied first in their class or event at any horse show, exhibition, sale, or auction. Such inspection shall be for the purpose of determining whether any such horses are in violation of the Act or regulations. Such physical examination shall be conducted in accordance with the inspection procedures provided for in 11.21 of this part. The DQP shall observe horses in the warm-up ring during the actual performances whenever possible, and shall inspect any tendency walking horse or racking horse at any time he deems necessary to determine whether any such horse is shown, exhibited, sold, or auctioned in violation of the Act or regulations. If present at other horse shows, shall examine any horse which he determines to be examined. If present at other shows, he shall examine any horse which determines should be examined for the compliance with the Act and regulations. Nuts. So the question in my mind that came up just now is they are so focused on soaring, which is a huge issue, that they fail to actually protect horses from things like a broken pelvis. If you look at any of these big lick horses that are shown at 2 years old, trained at yearling, shown at 3 years old, under riders that are 200 plus pounds, sitting on their lumbar spine with those saddles in a horrible position with a very long shank curb bit that would be illegal in any dressage show. If you look at these horses' gaits, all of their weight is on their hind end in not a good fashion, in such a manner that a pelvis that hasn't even fused properly yet is then shaking around, so they're not stable. Their pelvis has not fully ossified yet, and it is breaking at the seams, literally, I'm sure. If you look at these horses that have been thrown away by the big lick industry, their pelvises are broken, their stifle is not stable, like they can't walk. Their rear end is broken completely, and that doesn't even get close to the problem of tail nicking. I'm just saying, the Horse Protection Act doesn't really protect horses. It just makes it harder to soar the front legs. That's it. That's about it. Which is kind of laughable. 3. The DQP shall immediately report to management of any horse show, exhibition, or sale or auction any horse which, in his opinion, is sore or otherwise in violation of the Act or regulations. Such report shall be made whenever possible before the show, class, or exhibition involving said horse has begun, or before said horse is offered for sale or auction. C. The management of any horse show, exhibition, sale, auction that designates and appoints a DQP to inspect horses shall appoint and designate at least 2 DQPs when more than 150 horses are entered. So if you have a horse that's larger than 150 entries, now you need 2 people. Inspection procedures for designated qualified persons. During the pre-show inspection, the DQP shall direct the custodian of the horse show to walk and turn the horse in a manner that allows the DQP to determine whether the horse exhibits signs of soreness. The DQP shall determine whether the horse moves in a free and easy manner and is free of any signs of soreness. The DQP shall digitally palpate the front limbs of the horse from knee to hoof, with particular emphasis on the pasterns and fetlocks. The DQP shall examine the posterior surface of the pastern by picking up the foot and examining the posterior flexor surface. The DQP shall also apply digital pressure to the pocket or the sulcus, including the bulbs of the heel, and continue the palpation to the medial and lateral surfaces of the pastern, being careful to observe for responses to pain in the horse. While continuing to hold onto the pastern, the DQP shall extend the foot of the leg on the horse to examine the front extensor surfaces including the coronary band. The DQP may examine the rear limbs of all horses inspected after showing and may examine the rear limbs of any horse examined pre-show or on the show grounds when he deems it necessary, except that the DQP shall examine the rear limbs of all horse exhibiting lesions on or unusual movement of the rear legs. So I just mentioned unusual movement of the rear legs. So that's generally when they are dumped. We're usually about 3 or 4 years old because they won't be able to pass an inspection. But I wonder, because I have seen clips of Big Lick where the movement of the horse is clearly not okay. Like, the horse's leg is wobbling this way, but somehow they passed inspection. I don't know how that works. Alright, where was I? While carrying out the procedure set forth in this paragraph, the DQP shall also inspect the horse to determine whether the provisions of 11.3 of this part are being complied with, and particularly when there is any evidence of inflammation, edema, or proliferating granuloma tissue. The DQP shall observe and inspect all horses for compliance with the provisions set forth in 11.2a through 11.2c of this part. All actions, devices, pads, and other equipment shall be observed and or examined to assure that they are in compliance with regulations. All such equipment on horses, examined post-show on horses, examined pre-show that are not clearly in compliance shall be weighed and or measured. And these are these action devices. 4. The DQP shall instruct the custodian of the horse to control it by holding the reins approximately 18 inches from the bit shank. The DQP shall not be required to examine a horse if it is presented in a manner that might cause the horse not to react to a DQP's examination, or if whips, cigarette smoke, or other actions or paraphernalia are used to distract a horse during examination. All such incidents shall be reported to the show management and DQP licensing organization. So you can't distract the horse. You got to hold the horse within the kind of middle of the rein, and your horse has to be trained to actually stand still for all of this stuff, because any other movement would be misconstrued as a pain response from the DQP or APHIS representative. The DQP shall inspect horses no more than 3 classes ahead of time, and the inspected horses are to be shown except that in shows with fewer than 150 horses. So let me go over that again. Shall inspect horses no more than 3 classes ahead of time. So you can't have your horse all settled up and in the show ring for half the day. Except that in fewer than 150 horses, they shall inspect horses no more than 2 classes ahead of time. So if it's a smaller show, 2 classes. I'm curious how that would apply to like dressage shows or jumping shows, where like jumping shows it's time. The class, I don't know how they would define the class. Is it like the next competitor? Because it's not like Tennessee walking classes where, you know, you've got a group of people going in there, like, you know, equitation would be. So, like, if you have 2 classes ahead, you literally have 4 minutes to get this done. If it's a jumper show, like if it's, you know, a 2-minute jump course, or if it's a dressage show, like, usually one dressage test is under 5 minutes. It's like, oh yeah, you got 10 minutes to get this done. Get it done, I don't have time to warm up. I don't think that would work. Anyway, inspected horses shall be held in a designated area that is under observation by the DQP or APHIS representative. Horses shall not be permitted to leave the designated area before showing. Only the horse, rider, groom, the trainer, the DQP, Ps, and APHIS representative shall be allowed in the designated area. So they're inspected, they go into the designated area, and they wait. The DQP may carry out additional inspection procedures as deems necessary to determine whether a horse is sore. The HIO that licensed the DQP shall assess and enforce penalties for violations in accordance. So you can see how this can be extremely disruptive to show environments, especially show environments that are not like these Tennessee walking classes, and they're not like they might not have as much downtime as these Tennessee walking horse shows. It's like, you register for a show and you try to make sure that your test or jump course is, well between classes. But you never know. You might be placed one right after another. Or how do you determine class? Because this is meant for the Tennessee walking horse industry, not the rest of it. I don't get it. Records required in disposition thereof. The management of any horse show, exhibition, sale, or auction that contains Tennessee walking horses or racking horses shall maintain for a period of at least 90 days following the closing date of said show, exhibition, sale, or auction, all pertinent records containing the dates and place of the horse show, exhibition, sale, or auction, the name and address, including the street address or post office box number and zip code of the sponsoring organization, the name and address of the horse show, exhibition, sale, or auction management, the name and address, including street address or post office box number and zip code of the DQP, if any, employed to conduct inspections under 11.20, and the name of the horse industry organization or association certifying the DQP. The name and address of each show judge, and I'm saying including the street address, post office box, etc. A copy of each class or sale sheet containing the names of the horses, names and addresses, including street address, post office box, etc., of horse owners, exhibitor number and class number or sale number assigned to each horse, the show class or sale lot number, and the name and address, including the street address, etc., of the person paying the entry fee and entering the horse into a show or exhibition, sale, or auction. So the person that is showing, the person that is training and riding, and all responsible for, and then the person who also pays for it. A copy of the official horse show, exhibition, sale, or auction program, if any such program has been prepared. The identification of each horse, including the name of the horse, the name, address, including street address, etc., of the owner, trainer, rider, or other exhibitor, and location, including street address, etc., of the home barn or other facility which the horse is stabled. The management of any horse show, exhibition, sale, or auction containing Tennessee walking horses or racking horses shall designate a person to maintain the records required in this section. The management of any horse show, exhibition, horse sale, or auction containing Tennessee walking horses or racking horses shall furnish to any APHIS representative, upon request, the name and address, including street address, etc., of the person designated by the sponsoring organization or manager to maintain the records required by this section. The administrator may, in specific cases, require that a horse show, exhibition, or sale or auction records be maintained by management for a period of in excess of 90 days. That's a lot. So you can see how this, like I said before, this just completely decimates the whole horse show process. Especially when people are like, it's your class next, I gotta have a 10-minute warm-up or something, I don't know. But then I can't get inspected for 2 to 3 classes prior to that. Define class, is it test, is it jump off, what is it? Is it grouping, is it like intro, and then training, and then first level dressage, or... This is not specific enough. And this is the original one, not the non-specific generic craziness of the update. I don't get it. I don't know. So, welcome to part 4. Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting Uplift Equine in this. If you want to be more of a detailed supporter and get some benefits from that, please go to our Patreon. And for those of you who are Patreon members now, thank you for supporting this channel. And if you want to see more of these types of videos, please like and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.